So the first reactions was like, oh my God, I didn't even know about that. And then what can we do? How should we tackle that?
Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.
This is where your long, very strong, ripped bicep arms will have no trouble keeping it stable.
We'll see. I've retired for years now.
Oh, so you stopped all of the training for the upper body.
Well, some days I pretend like I'm training, but it's more like I'm exercising.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're so happy to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Made the technical adjustments. We're all figuring it out, Chantal.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we're sort of hot on our agenda today. And I know Devin interviewed you for the story, and that was about when do we start seeing equal pay for equal work when it comes to Paralympians and medals?
Yes. And I've been speaking and talking about it. I've been trying to remember how long, because I did it when I was an athlete a little bit. But when you're a competing athlete, it's not your job to fight for that. But when media would ask me, I would say, of course, I don't think it's fair, and of course I would like equity, and I would like to have those performance bonuses, but I was not really fighting for it because I had something else to do, like winning those medals. And so it's been years and years, and it's interesting because I look at Team Canada and I'm so happy for them and how they're doing, and how great they've been going through that experience of making high performance happen in such tough conditions. And at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, we still haven't figured out that one. And it makes me a little bit frustrated. But at the same time, this conversation to that level, having so many stakeholders thinking, okay, we have to figure it out. Something needs to happen now. I've never been in that place, and I think this is very constructive.
And Chantal, you've been leading the way on this. You did give a rousing, passionate speech in the House. What has the reaction been? Because I know you're talking to a lot of people right now.
Yes. Well, the input and the feedbacks and the comments have been so amazing at all levels. When I did speak in the chamber, I just, to be honest, how many people listen to the Senate speeches? Maybe not that many. But I thought it has to be said, even if it's only to share with my colleagues. I need to put it there that we were welcoming our Olympians back and saying good luck to our Paralympians is when I gave that speech. And I thought I need to make it aware that there's some sort of injustice and inequity. And I thought the Senate was the right place to do it, because it is sober second thought, and we want to dig deep in those conversations. And so the reaction really was, because not everybody is in the sports system. So the first reactions was like, oh my God, I didn't even know about that. And then what can we do? How should we tackle that? And then it came from, athletes saying, thank you for doing it. Thank you for bringing it forward, and just fans and just Canadians watching those games. And you've seen it as well. We follow each other on social media, and we've been seeing many Canadians saying, okay, this is not right. They don't know the details, and they don't know, and we don't need to know everything, but I think everybody is on the same page saying this is not right, and this is not how we want to treat our athletes here in Canada.
So what happens next, do you suppose? How do you not, while this is still a kind of a hot topic, make sure that no one drops the ball on it now?
Yes. Well, I think that's a very, very good question. And that's going to be where I want to put my energy is trying to connect. I've been speaking with many people. I've been speaking with our amazing team at the Canadian Paralympic Committee. And what I see now is that everybody realize that we have to have that conversation. We have to come up with solutions, with options, with ideas, and we need to be making sure that we're taking actionable, like we're taking steps to make it happen. So I don't have the concrete answer. I do know that I'm committing to knock on doors, to make phone calls, to make sure that this conversation happens and that our athletes get what they deserve. Because in the end, and I know some articles have quoted how much money I have missed out on that, and I didn't even realize it, which really is significant. So, it really is representative that really it's not about the money, because I never really counted it, but it's about what it means. We've been talking about the Paralympians and the effort and the training and the professionalism that they put into these high performances, and the message that this is sending to them, but to everybody. And I always think about younger Canadians with a disability. What it's saying is that, yeah, sure, you have a medal, but clearly it's not worth the same thing. And I know it's more complex than that, but this is the message that this sends, and that's why it's so important to correct it. I think every athlete will tell you the same, that it's not getting it's not about the money as much as it is about what is fair and equality and equity.
Well, and I can tell you both here on the ground, there's been a lot of reaction as well. Talking to the curlers and talking to the para ice hockey players, they feel there's momentum on this as well. And I actually had a conversation with Marc-André Fabien, the president of the Canadian Paralympic Committee. It was an impassioned conversation, as you can imagine, if you know Marc-André. And he said, listen, he said in the hockey rink, as long as I am president, we are going to get this done before Paris. So there's this feeling. But Chantal, I thought it was poignant. You and I were having an exchange, whatever time it was for you and I with this time change, but that Canada in a lot of ways has been a leader in the Paralympic movement. But this is such a glaring gap. And you can see that by the reaction.
Yes. And I remember when I began, and it was the big era of Rick Hansen, Andre Vigier, and Canada was groundbreaking and a leader in the Paralympic movement, and we were one of the first countries to have included sports federation. Athletics being included with para-athletics, the carding system. I remember athletes from all across the world and in the U.S. and everywhere saying, you have carding system, you have, we don't even know what that is, and my feeling is that we lost ground a little bit in that regard, and it's not too late. It's not too late. We don't want to be the last country to do that. And I think now what we can see is, US is doing it. Many countries are doing it. Australia is doing it, starting with these games. And we want to be part of that progress. I think it's important. It's important for our athletes, and it's important for the place that we want to have in the Paralympic movement, I think.
What besides the rewarding for medals, what else needs, or do you see as a need that needs to happen in the Paralympic movement, so that it's not just every 4 years we're paying attention? And I know that happens at the Olympics too. There's some sports we ignore until the Olympic Games, but how does that conversation, how does change happen there?
It is very difficult, and it's true. And I want to say, I don't have data, but I want to say that the Winter Paralympian maybe have it even a little, less light on them between games than maybe the Summer Paralympians, because of the history of the Paralympic sport and wheelchair racing and wheelchair basketball. And so I think when I look back at, for example, when I was competing, of course, things are completely different. We see, we are able to see live events on the web at so many platforms. And so we can get there and see what we want to see and who we want to see, which didn't happen even 10 years ago. But sometimes I feel, is it enough? It's a very difficult one, because what do you do between games? Are we sending media coverage to world championships or to something that is not only Commonwealth Games, Parapan Games, and Paralympics? And I think this is still a lot like this. I think it should change. And the reason I think it should change, of course, it's because it's the right thing to do. Those athletes trained, we want to support them, and it's the correct and right thing to do. But I think now, and that's what makes me excited, is that I think there's a demand for it. I think for the longest time it was like, oh, I am not a person with a disability, so why would I be interested in Paralympic sport? And
Right.
that way of thinking has changed so much, because people were exposed, because Canadians were exposed, and they just realized that, well, sport is sport, and a wheelchair basketball game is exciting whether or not you are in a wheelchair. Same thing with so many, we were showing the curling, para curling. You don't need to be a Paralympian or a person with a disability to find it exciting. And I think in the last few years, Canadians have discovered that, and that is a big breakthrough. Of course, there's still a lot to be done, but uh, that would be, for me, the one thing, is make sure that we don't forget about those athletes between games. But that being said, I remember a time when, during the Paralympics, it was almost like the media were choosing one or two para spokesperson, let's talk about this one, and this one, and that's it. And I was lucky enough, because I was one of them. But the truth is, what I find really exciting now is that the media, cover a lot of sports, a lot of athletes, and that did not happen, even in 2008, I think, I want to say.
Yeah, it's an incredible team on the ground here, 49 Canadian athletes, and haven't they wowed throughout all of it? Yes, the 21 medals, so many other non-podium performances that are equally as incredible. We have to ask you, of course, because we were joking about the fact that that great Canadian skier, Brian McKeever, Chantal, he has 15 gold medals now. You have 14. You were saying, I guess I'm not the best anymore. Incredible. I'll give you a word. Because Brian is great.
Yes.
For so
well,
long.
I mean, I meant what I said. I mean, I'm a competitive, so I was always kind of although we do have to mention that we have a swimmer, Michael Edgson, who has 18 gold medals, but he was before our time. And I remember Brian competing at the same time as myself. So, I wanted him to win the gold medal. I wish he didn't participate to so many games and events, but I'm just kidding. I think it's my competitive edge is like, oh no. Yeah. But at the same time, the honest answer is that, to have that level of commitment to one very, very difficult sport for 6 Paralympic Games, and to be so consistent on high performance, it requires so much work, so much dedication, that I'm just in awe of what he did. Because I know what, we all have our stories, but I know that level of commitment. I've been through this, and so I'm just very proud of him and very happy for him. I think I always said for myself that the measure of the success was to be able to have those high performance, very high pressure, stressful events, but find a way to have fun. And when I look at him on the screen, I see exactly that. I see someone who pushed himself to the limit of pain, but has a lot of fun. And I think that's great. I think he's amazing.
I look at him and think he should be a model. But Chantal, it's 4 more years. I think you can get ready for Paris. I think you can enjoy it.
Not happening.
No, you're not that competitive anymore then.
This is so wonderful to see you, Chantal. And it really is a collective effort. I think we all play a part in moving the Paralympic movement forward. And we're going to stay on this story. So I hope we can continue the dialogue, because it's past overdue. And I think there's a feeling that this has to get done.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm committed to it. I know you are, and I know many people are. So I think the next time we talk about it, hopefully we have some sort of commitment and good news to report on.
Right on. And back pay, I say. Just kidding.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It does look like you're still in gold medal form.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.